Hello and welcome to another video. Today I thought that I would show you from my previous video with the Stampin Up Cut and Emboss machine. This was the piece I had embossed with those snowflakes, the winter snow embossing folder. So I had this piece here originally, and I thought, you know what, I'll trim it down and I'll turn it into a nice card. So I trimmed it down here to 3 3/4 by 5, and so I'm gonna just kind of create this on the fly, but I am using the winter snow embossing folder, so I've already used that one in the previous video. I am using the So Many Snowflakes dies, specifically these 3 here, and I used the shimmer white cardstock for that one, and I'm using the Snowflake Wishes stamp set, specifically this one here, the Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas, because it'll fit really well right here at the bottom of this piece of paper. And I'm also using the ribbon that comes with this suite, and of course I am spacing on the name. Let's look that one up. So the ribbon is called, oh my, Lucy and I apologize, I should have had that one ready. Let's see here. Here's the paper, the stamps, the dies. Here's the ribbon. It's called Snowflake Splendor right here. And it's this kind of like iridescent color. So there's that. And I thought, let's go ahead, I can wrap that around right here where there's the divide between the two. And I thought before I'd actually do that, I'm actually going to emboss the sentiment right here, but I'm going to heat emboss it. So first things first, let's get out my Stampin' Pierce mat, just because we are using photopolymer stamps and I want to make sure I stamp well. So let's go ahead and get out my Versamark ink. Versamark ink is a watermark ink. It's essentially a clear sticky ink that my embossing powder will in fact stick to very well, and it'll stay there until I heat set it. Looks like I did a decent job there. Let's find out. So different demonstrators do different things depending on how I do things. Sometimes I'll use these. I've also got a little pot with my embossing folder, but that was just a little bit further to reach today, so I thought I would just use this one. So essentially I use a coffee filter, but you can use really anything you want. So here's what happens though. We used to sell these little embossing buddies. Essentially it's like a little powder bag, which would help put down a little bit of powder to absorb any stray oils and things. We've stopped selling it, and I'm not quite sure why. They lasted for a really long time, and so I still have mine. So if you ever see me using them, just note that you can even make your own, I think, with like a little bag of cornstarch. So I save my embossing powder, put it back in the little pot, and then let's go ahead and heat set it. And then when I brushed away the extra pieces there, I just used like an old paintbrush like this one. I mean, look at that. Like, that's just an old paintbrush, but it has a nice decent tip there. So pardon the noise, but I'm going to heat set it now. Our heat set tool has a 0 obviously turned off, 1 for drying, 2 for heat embossing. So I warm it up for a little bit, and then I'm going to heat set it. It doesn't take long to heat up, usually like 20 seconds or so, and you can kind of feel for it and see how far along it is. And there we go. And you can heat set it from either the back, which is what I tend to do, but you can heat set it from the front as well. There we go, look at that. How cool is that? Another thing to note is you definitely do not want to heat set it for too long. If you heat set it for too long, you'll actually burn the, because this is essentially a type of plastic, you'll actually burn it if you heat set it for too long. So just something to note there. So now let's go ahead and adhere our piece of ribbon. I thought right above would be really nice. So let's go ahead and just get some simple glue dots to do that. And I'm just going to use my leftover glue dots here from my paper pumpkin. And luckily for me, there's this kind of impression here. So I'm just going to put my glue dot right under that line. So there's that. And you can always line it up here with your grid paper to make sure it's pretty close to even. And it looks like it's in this like square here, which will be perfect for us. So let's go ahead, remove the backings. And then adhere that, wrap it around. Oh, see, and now that's way too low. So we'll check. Yeah, I think I'll actually need another glue dot and put it higher up. That's okay. That just means it'll adhere to the paper better with all the extra little glues. See, it's a learning process. You adjust, you adapt, you change things as needed. You can't be too strict in how you want to do things, because sometimes the paper or the ribbon or something doesn't want to behave. So it looks like I'll essentially make the bottom of the ribbon about in line with this. There we go. That looks much better. So this ribbon is a little bit stiff. So just a warning for those of you who use it. It's a nice ribbon. I love the kind of shimmer aspect of it, but it is a little bit stiff. So just a heads up there. That looks great. So let's go ahead. I've got my Whisper White Thick card base. I'm going to lay that on top. And I don't think I'm going to actually pop it up. I think I'm going to lay it straight, because notice here the paper, it didn't warp very much, but it's not exactly flat. And so I worry if I pop it up, I think it's going to be a little bit less good looking there. So let's go ahead. A little bit of Stampin' Seal, and because I have the ribbon, and the embossing, I'm going to put some of the Stampin' Seal here in the middle as well. Then at the top. So now I can go ahead and layer that right in the middle. And there we go. And if I didn't like that it's coming up a little bit, I can actually sneak in another little glue dot right underneath it. So move that right there. So notice it's in line. So I just kind of bend the card, peel that little backing off gently so I don't pull off. There we go. Haha. And then gently stick it down. Boom. And then that way it won't keep popping up. So now let's go ahead and see where I want to place my snowflakes. We could do kind of an increasing size order. That looks pretty cute. We could kind of vary it up, maybe like this. Ooh, that's fun. Or maybe descending, like smallest one. That could be fun too. All right, let's try that other one again, the first one. Yeah, I kind of like that one. So let's do that. So we're going to use the Tombow this time, all different types of adhesives today. And then because this liquid glue is going to adhere to the paper really well, I don't need much. I'm essentially just putting this like teeny tiny little dot, and I'm going to just lay it on right about here. And the perk of doing it this way too is it kind of like comes off the blue, and that's really leaves a neat little kind of almost three-dimensional look because of that. There we go. So I'm not putting very much, just enough to say it's there. And then I'll do the same thing here, where I'll have it come off the blue a little bit. And so because of the embossing though, you really do want to kind of push on it a little bit so that it'll definitely stick exactly where you want it to be. So now I'm adding glue here, but I'm not going to add the glue to these outer pieces right here because some of it's going to overlap with the ribbon and I don't want it to kind of feel forced, if that makes sense. So let's do like this. There we go. And there we go. So that is my card using this piece that I used to demonstrate the Stampin' Cut and Embossed machine. And I like it. That's kind of fun. And look at all that texture, right? There's the embossing, there's the dry embossing, there's the heat embossing, there's the die cut. You know, that's a lot of, I mean, the only other type of embossing I didn't include here was embossing paste, which, you know, I probably could have made that work somehow. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions or need to get your hands on these materials, feel free to get in touch and I can help you with all of your Stampin' Up needs. Oh, let me move that and put that away. And so I will see you in the next video, which hopefully, I think we're getting closer and closer to my 100 subscribers. So feel free, if you haven't already done so, to subscribe so you can see more of my videos and tips and tutorials, so that way you don't miss one. And keep an eye out for my award focused, not reward, what's the word I'm looking for? My prize video, essentially, for reaching my 100 subscribers. Once that happens, I want to celebrate. So I figured I would send one of you lucky recipients one free bundle your way. So get in touch if you need anything. I will see you in the next video. Bye!